Hello everybody, this is David. I've never made a video on here like this one that shows my face or me talking. Usually I put them on YouTube if there's a video, or I do a lot of videos from my company page, but I got to do a video here for the Mesa. I'm not on the other Wild Horse Mesa page. I'm not a part of their organizations and things, and I I know that they sometimes report some of the bad things that happen, but not really, and they're not effective at all at dealing with any of the bad things. As a matter of fact, they also cause plenty of the bad things. Some pretty sneaky people on those pages. I'm not a sneaky kind of person myself, and so I've been thinking about making this video for a little while, a few months actually, and I had to allow time to pass. Maybe other things to occur, not to occur, and I had to clear, basically let the air clear about it, let my mind clear, and think about if I even wanted to make the video or not at all. And I think that it's important for everyone to have transparency about the Mesa as well, and if there's anything that's a major crime in your community, I think I know that's a pretty serious factor, and America's currently going through a lot of crime. There's a lot more crime than there has been, and in my lifetime, it is completely unstable. The condition of the world's very unstable right now. We're funding a couple wars. We're funding mass amounts of immigrants. We're paying. Some cities, just in individual cities, have over 150 million plus in debt. We're paying for them to have sex changes. That's real weird. That's definitely not like emergency or stabilizing care for sure. But anyway, so there is a lot going on, and I think that because people have become divided, that is why it's just got worse and worse and worse. And if we can't talk about the difficult things and nobody steps up to lead or anything, then it's just going to get worse. There are plenty of people that I know that actually want things to change. Their perception of reality and everything is pretty jacked up since basically about 2019, 2020, and it's just getting worse. So here on this Mesa, what I'm going to talk about, what I've experienced, is a situation, criminal situations, and some crooked situations with some relationships with people, basically. And it's important that people know about each other. It's one reason my company's on Facebook. We have a 5-star rating on there. People can talk transparently about me if they want to on the internet as well, same way as I talk about lots of bad situations and good situations we end up in. We have a 5-star rating. We've been in business for 7 years. We have done hundreds of jobs, and we're successful at those jobs, even if we have a lot of stuff that gets in our way. So the situation here is, and I'm going to put screenshots of the text messages and things like that below in the comments so y'all can see what has been said to me, so you know I'm not making any of this stuff up. When I moved here to the Mesa, I bought some property last year in the spring. I came up here. I began dealing with the county and building my business here. Advertising, closing bids, and hiring people and doing projects. And I didn't really want to meet a whole bunch of people on a personal level. I have a lot of work that I have to do, and inflation's making it more and more work all of the time. So I ended up being stopped by one of the neighbors, though. One of the people that live up here stopped me. His name's Carl. I've given some explanations on how things have gone with him and his wife since I've been here. This will kind of give you from the beginning of that. Carl stopped me and wanted to meet me and was asking me some questions. I didn't have to answer any of the questions. But I was like, yeah, we live down here. Oh, I guess you're our new neighbor and all this. And I'm like, yeah, I live down there. We bought some land down there, this, that, and the other. And over time, short period of time too, as I said, this was in the spring. him and his wife ended up inviting me and my child to their home to meet their family and go have a barbecue. And then I got invited over again a little while later. And when I was there was a bunch of other people there, which is fine. It's his house. He didn't tell me there'd be a bunch of other people there. So I met a bunch of other people as well. And Angela Kahn she's a retired sheriff from the state of Illinois and transportation officer there. She retired and bought a home here from a guy named Mickey on the Mesa. That's the home I'm standing at right now. I'm at her home outside. And we just met. We played some, what is that, cornhole and stuff like that, and had some drinks. It was fine. Met a man named Terry Moreland. Terry Moreland is crooked 9 ways a Sunday. Just spent his entire life basically in lawsuits, being sued by people, scamming people, lying to people, scamming the government. So I met him as well. I didn't know none of these things about these people, of course. And Terry wanted to get into business. He wanted me to be a board member of his. He's trying to start a co-op here and blah, 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 and all this crap. And I went to their meeting. I didn't pay the money, and I found out a lot of disturbing things about the Mesa starting right there at that meeting, about basically like squabbles between neighbors that have gotten very serious about silly things. And basically there was a crook or two, like a blatant crook, some Mason Honcho, blatant crook, and Shane, who partnered with Terry. Terry actually partnered with them. He'll tell you how much he doesn't like him, and that Mason's such a bad guy and all of this other crazy stuff. But they were partners up here, and they were partners in crime. And so that put everyone up here at quite a bit of risk. There were a lot of home robberies, and they talk a little bit about robberies and burglaries on the other page, but I need to emphasize that there were a lot, and there's everybody has a pretty clear connections and ideas to who is doing these things and how they're doing it. And it's easy to know up here on the Mesa. That's easy to track people. It's easy to, in the snow, the sand, the dirt, where people don't drive often, and there's cameras, and there's trail cams hidden, and there's real cams, and there's Wi-Fi cams, and there's cameras that run on their own cell phone signal off solar. There's people everywhere, and they don't like being robbed and taken advantage of anyway. So that lasted a short amount of time in a pretty violent spurt. And that's what I learned about them at that meeting. I learned about Mason and dumping all kinds of trash on the Mesa. You'll see pictures of that in our thing. And when I heard about that, and I told him in the meeting to Terry, and I said, well, look here now, y'all all threaten to kill each other over some, get the trash. You all have trucks. I mean, Terry has a whole bunch of trucks, and they have trailers and dump trailers and tractors and skid steers, and it's like, go pick up the loser, dump the trash. You got to understand, trying to control that loser and have him come pick up his trash, that's not going to happen. You're not going to take a loser like that out of his ghetto mentality with your bullish mentality and just do it forcefully. You're going to force this guy to come. It's not going to happen, man. They fought with that dude, and they claimed they had tried to get the county involved, and the county said they couldn't do anything, which I can guarantee you they can, and they didn't try correctly. I'm in the process of having Mason's house condemned right now. So it's all fucked up and burned. It's been burned. He accidentally caught it on fire before. All kinds of stuff. It's bad. It's not safe for his child and his newborn baby to be there, which they're not there right now. But I also don't want them to try and clean it up just a little and show up here in the summertime. Because he's trouble. He's a thief. He has warrants. He's a dopehead. He's on the run. It's just nothing but trouble. Absolute nothing but trouble. So I go on through the spring and the summer running my company, and I'm approached by Angela coming up into the fall time about coming to her house and house sitting for the winter time so she can be gone. And I told my son it was a bad idea, and I told her no initially. And then after a few weeks, she approached me again with the offer, and a little bit more like, she had a little bit more clear of an offer to make as well. And I had also been around her once or twice more, and I decided, sure, I guess we can go meet you and hear about your house and your place and what all you have. So we came here. I'm at the house here now, and she took me around. She showed me that the back sliding door was broke, the glass door, and it's kind of weird. Like, all the stuff that's in here isn't even, she didn't buy none of it. It's just she bought the house with everything in it from the other guy. Like, everything. He left everything. Forks, knives, random, like, pieces of paper, decks of cards, books, magazines, CDs, tapes, the kitchen towels, like, the cleaner, the dish soap, everything. He just sold everything. Even the truck. He left the truck in the front yard. He left his camper. Everything. He just gave her all of it. And she told me right there, with my son right there, that there was her friend Tony that lives right there next door, he has an illegal weed farm. But he's a really nice guy, and all this other stuff. She says, and the back door is broke because when she moved in, there was about 20 pounds of weed, I guess, in the house, in mason jars and stuff, stored all in the house. And when she left the winter before, this is why she wanted someone to watch the house, she was told that it would be safe by the people she bought it from, which Mickey and the drug dealer are best friends. And they told her it'd be fine to leave it open. And I think we all know, especially Mickey's been out here since the 90s, that you can't leave your house open out here. It will get robbed. That's crazy. So they told her that, and then some people came, and she left the gate and everything unlocked, with the door locked, and left the gate open. And so they broke the back door, went in, stole all the weed, even went in the attic. There's a crawl space hole that they had to create for the attic, because it's not an attic you can actually get in. They went in the attic. There was weed. I guess they're looking for cash. And they stole all kinds of other random stuff. They vandalized the place. They stole the battery out of the truck, stole the gas out of the truck, did all kind of shit. You see all their cans around here. We've picked up quite a bit of trash, but we don't drink seltzers. I don't drink Monster Energy. This is their crap. So it was a mess, and she explained that she wanted someone here for security purposes. That she thought she knew who it was. She got her AR-15 and went over to Mason and Shane's place and went up there and got Terry together and all this other crap. A bunch of drama, a bunch of threats. I mean, it's just that's not safe, man. None of it's right. And she couldn't call the police, I imagine, even though she's a retired sheriff, because they stole a bunch of weed. She has something to do with this. She does have something to do with this. No real police officer will just buy a house full of all this kind of stuff and keep it and just live in there with it and just hold on to it like that. If you believe that that's possible, you probably shouldn't be voting. You're not a very intelligent person. The deal, and I'll put a screenshot of our invoice. The deal was that I would fix the roof, which I'm going to show in a minute. Install the toilet in here had no water. It was cracked. Their dude Tony, who installed their solar and did their toilet and all that stuff, he'd done it all wrong. There was not even any water hooked up. And the first toilet he put in, they didn't drain it in the wintertime, so when they left, the water froze in there and the toilet cracked and ruined all the floor. Had to cut out the floor, put in a new toilet, and run water to it as well. Create a new water line. There's multiple other things besides the idea is like, well, you clearly need a lot of security. Oh! Whoa, there goes two more of the military jets I was telling you about, the big ones. Flew right over my head and tipped his wings. They fly over all the time like that, man. He was not very high off the ground either. Whoa. So, we installed these cameras for her. I came, and before we even moved in, we installed these cameras. And they are hooked up to a cell phone signal on their own, and they run off solar. And I bought lights and signs and motion detector lights and everything. And I talked to my son, and I told her that we would have to think about it. I would have to think about it. And she said she wanted some things done. She walked me around. She also said she'd like to get a bid on getting her whole house done up again with, damn it, she's got all this crap on here. There's some wood. There's some spots that don't have any wood. There's spots that's stucco. So she wanted all of it covered with stucco. She wanted a bid on that. She wanted the deck done. She wanted a bid to build a horse stall and covered a garage parking. She wanted all of these different things, and interior work, all the drywall work, all kinds of stuff. So we came to a proper agreement, because just on-site live-in security in a dangerous situation where there's been a robbery in the last year, there's been guns involved, there is a drug dealer that lives next door that has $1 to $2 million worth of drugs on his property. All these things make it pretty dangerous. Usually be like $4,000 a week for live-on-site security. It's between $1,000 and $4,000. This is a pretty dangerous situation here. But I bid it for the half of the year, $40,000, to be here in person, making sure everything is safe and that people are deterred from being here at all. Then I bid all of the other stuff she wanted, except for the horse stall and the parking garage, because that would take time, and that was way too expensive to add into any kind of house sitting deal. So I sent her the invoice. She liked it. She agreed. We came here, and she asked my son when we got here, when she was leaving, she has this dog, this huge dog. He's a Caucasian Shepherd, get up to 220 pounds, and he was a puppy at the time, but he was almost as big as our German Shepherd. He was a puppy, so he also has to be raised and taught. And she's like, ask my son, here, I'll give you, just kneels down in front of him, has $100 in her hand. She's like, I'll pay for Chewy, she was named him Buck, we renamed him Chewy. I'll pay for his food, and I'll give you $100 a month if you can keep Chewy here with you and watch him for me. And my son agreed. And I'll tell you what happened with that as we go along as well. Once we got here, I started doing the work. We replaced the toilet. We did this, that, and the other. I made videos for her on our YouTube channel that are private. We added all the security. We did all kinds of stuff. And she was very happy every day. Very happy, very happy, very happy. Told us we could get rid of the furniture. There's all kinds of tires out here piled up in trash. We got it all put together in one spot. The wind yesterday blew a lot of crap around, though. It was bad. It blew off all this roof. We put on roof paper. So here's where it got weird. She was very happy all the time. And then we get to a point, I'm like, well, the roof, I had to tear off, it was 4 layers of shingles. They've just done it. It was still leaking. She had buckets in the house. It was pouring in the house. I had to get them all tore off, and I tell her what we need. She starts complaining about the cost of things. And I'm like, well, I mean, you have to pay. She knows that. She knew that. It's in the invoice and everything. I mean, in common sense, you know that this stuff's going to cost money. So she gripes about it. She makes it hard. She finally makes a purchase to get the tar paper on the roof. Now I send her a message a couple days later explaining to her that we have got one of the smaller washing machines that will fit in the house, and I'm going to hook it up to where it runs off of our generator, but to where she can have a washing machine in her house later as well, if she wants, if she buys one, because that's ours. And I showed her that one of our clients that we were working for gave us a new couch and a chair. And she told us we could put our own furniture in, and we could get rid of the old smelly furniture, as she called it. And except for her couch she bought. And we didn't get rid of the couch she bought. She has a couch in there. It's a recliner couch. And I told her That, and this is where it started going weird. She started complaining. She said, I'm doing you guys a favor. She starts chewing me out in writing and text. I can't afford all of this stuff. And I said, I think you're misunderstanding me. These are my things, and I'm not charging you to install the plumbing for the washer, and it's my washer. And I tried to level with her, and she was just angry and rude and still pushy and hard-headed, and there was no way to communicate. She'd asked me multiple times to bid the carport and the stuff, and I sent her the bid on it once we were here. And on this conversation, she starts blowing up, telling me how she can't afford it, and this, that, and the other, and telling me that she was doing me a favor. So she's acting like it's a problem that I'm sending her the cost on things, and that because she has this at her house that's been robbed, it's beat to crap, the toilet's broken and rotted through the floor, there's no running water, the roof is completely leaking into 5-gallon buckets, and it's in a dangerous place next to a drug dealer, that she was doing me a favor. We have a business exchange here. So, there is no favors. I'm not her slave. We don't know where for her to treat us badly or to start acting like I was causing her a problem, and that's why I'm making this video. Because she is a part of the other organizations, and she is on the other pages. And if she goes back to those pages and around other people willing to sneak around and say things in basically on channels that she knows that I can't defend myself on, she was a member of this page and she blocked me. She has the ability to go on my company's page or on Google and review me. I'll have an open conversation with her at any time, but she's scamming. So that's not going to happen. So this is kind of a defense to that in case she tries to paint me and my son as some kind of people who did something wrong here. So I'll show you. Yesterday, it was windy for 2 days. Today, there's no wind whatsoever. It's super nice. And that's how the wind usually does. It just comes and goes out here. So we're going to go up here. I'm going to show y'all where I had put on all the paper, and I told her that we needed the metal to cover this. So now all the paper is gone. You could see it ripped off in the wind. And now that's a waste of that. And I can't afford all this, she told me. By the time she told me that she could finally get the metal for the roof, at the same time, she needed chicken feed and she needed dog feed. And my son sent her a message about that. He's over here working on his truck. Here's what she said. She actually had me go up there and acted like she was confused because we drove from the ranch all the way to Walmart, which is an hour and a half away, to get the chicken feed and stuff and the metal. And then she starts panicking and blowing up on me and tripping out because she tried to say she was confused why she couldn't buy the stuff. We're standing in line, like in an actual line at Walmart where they've rung us up, not even at the self-checkout. And the woman's like, you can't pay like that. You can't pay us over the phone. Like, no one's ever even tried to do that. I don't know that and she's 60. She knows you can't do that. So we ended up going home with no food for the dogs or anything and no supplies. What happened next? She texts my son and says, will you be able to, my son says, will you be able to send the $100 today? Let's see if we can get this here now. And I'll get some screenshots of this later, but I'm going to hold it. You can pause it if you want to pause it and try and read that. I'm going to read it out loud. My dad used 10 gallons of emergency food to feed the chicken because I keep a lot of different canned foods and stuff. We have an emergency supply in case shit hits the fan. So I was feeding the chicken our stuff. It was time to buy Chewy's food. Chewy, his food alone with the brand she was buying, she's buying in soft cans and regular dog food and having us mix it together. I think it was like $280 a month. I'm not kidding. It was a lot. And then $100 a month to pay my son. Will you be able to send the $100 today? My dad used 10 gallons of emergency food to feed the chicken. She says, I asked Tony, the drug dealer, who threatened me. And at this point in time, she has threatened me. What she told me whenever we were talking about remodeling the house and everything, out of nowhere, we hadn't got cross with each other really or anything. And she said, I don't give a fuck about the law. That's a very odd thing to be getting told by somebody that's a cop. That's clearly a part of some sort of illegal, highly illegal activities. So Tony has not been allowed here since I've been here. He's part of the problem. Huge part of the problem. I can't believe the food is gone already. They have a food bank in Alamosa you guys can go to. So she's saying we could replace our own food with homeless shelter food and just keep feeding the chicken and the dog out of our own stuff. That's what she just said. I'll go to Walmart in a couple days. She's already supposed to have sent the money. We needed it. I'm going to have to give up Buck, she says. So she's giving up the dog. I have no idea what's going on at my place without my cameras, which the cameras are gone whenever you start threatening me and my son. She had access to seeing through the cameras all the time from Florida. And whenever she started talking about not giving a fuck about the police over remodeling costs and was acting extremely crazy, I told her she needed to settle down. She wouldn't settle down. It is over a week. I gave her some time. I turned the cameras off. The cameras didn't come back on. You're not going to be surveilling me and my son if you're going to be a crook, period. And it didn't have anything to do with paying my son. That's not even on the invoice, the dog. That was between her and my son. And abandoning him to us like that was pretty... It just shows the kind of person she is, because he's an expensive dog as well. They're $1,500 to $5,000. So I have no idea what's going on. Your dad also said people are going to come from Texas. I did tell her that my cousins and them would come from Texas if they have to, and they will come here. You're damn right they'll come here. You don't threaten us. She says that's too much to deal with. I'll be back on the Mesa in April. I will text you Wednesday when I'm at Walmart. My son says my dad's protecting the house. You have nothing to worry about. I promise. And if you want to give up Buck, I will take him. She said, I don't want to give up Buck. I want to make sure he's well fed. I want my cameras on and my house not to be full of people, which it isn't. It wasn't. And if I'm living here doing the securing and I decide I need 3 more people in here for security, that is well within my purview to do. It's completely legal. The same as turning off the cameras, where normally in a landlord situation, she could have turned off the cameras, or if I would have turned off her cameras, I could have got in trouble, criminally liable for turning off her cameras. They're her cameras, even though I rent the place, we agreed to them in the beginning, but we agreed to them in the aspect of security where I am managing the security. Therefore, I can bring in any forms of these security, turn them on or off, move them, relocate them, do what I have to actually make sure the place is secure. And if she is a threat, which she became a threat, she's going to lose full access to all that stuff, and she did right away. My son told her Buck's well fed, etc., etc. She said, I can't see him. He's like, well, here's a little video or a picture of him. So we go through with all of those situations, and she decides, what she tells my son later is, will you pull up the one where it says she'll pay you when she feels like it? Yeah. So she ends up just telling my son, I'll just pay you when I feel like it then. And then she just doesn't ever pay us again. Doesn't pay for the food, blocks us, as I said. And now she's trying to play victim, which is also really what she did to me in the first place, pretending to be a retired sheriff that's an upstanding person and and has her stuff together and wants to remodel this place and has plans and is a good person. I find out it's quite the opposite. She was playing victim, and that she's most likely a part of the criminal organization. And criminals will rob each other, and they'll do things to each other like that. So if she is on there talking trash and running her mouth or having a problem, that's our problem. She shouldn't have done what she done. We still had fixed the roof. She still has her toilet in there. The yard's still cleaned up much better than it was. We organized, the whole shop was jacked up. We fixed her solar. They had put her solar over here on Tony, the drug dealer, had put it over here where it was in the shade all the time. It wasn't working. It had ruined her last batteries. All 4 of them were swollen. She had to replace all of them. So we put the solar up there. That was free. That fixed the solar problem. We installed a secondary solar system over here to run another set of batteries that I keep all of our security cameras and lights and backup systems on. So she has more than one setup now. We've done a lot for her and could have done a whole lot more, but she tripped out. Carl and them tripped out. Terry tripped out. I think they've always been like that. Carl started destroying the road. And stealing the road. I had to call the sheriff on him and deal with him like that. And then I went by my property, because I'm not on my property. We have more than one piece of property out here. This isn't my actual ranch. My ranch is over there. And I go by there and do work every now and then. We're building our place over there. We're fixing to put in the septic in April. We're doing it all legitimately. We have all of our permits, unlike Carl and them. Which wouldn't, I mean, it is what it is. I don't go around looking for people to bug about permits and this, that, and the other. I don't do that. But if I do something that's going to have a permit on it, do what you want, I guess, but don't bother me. If you're going to do it, don't attack me. Don't start jacking with me, because you're going to put yourself in some bad crosshairs. I can tell you that right now. So what happened was, we have more than one set of cameras. We have some fake cameras. We have cameras. We have lights that are just motion lights on our property. And we don't even have anything out there like that right now. There's no tools out there. There's nothing no one can take, break, really, anything like that. And somebody snuck. There's no one else that lives on our road. There's never any. If someone drives out there, it'll show up in the mud and everything. Right now, it's been very muddy. It's been nothing but snow and ice and mud for about a whole month up here. It's very wet. So, and I check my cameras every couple weeks or so, and so it was about a 2-week window. Somebody came within the last 2 weeks and snaps, because our lights in our camera are on a wooden post. They took one of them completely, the post, the light, the sign, took it, and the other one they tried to take, they couldn't take the whole post, so they snapped it. They snapped it off at the bottom, took the post, and it looks like it's a camera, but that one was just a light. But in the bushes, we have game cameras that aren't hooked up to anything. They run on batteries, night vision, 4K. They're very hard to see. Happened to be, because it's been there the whole winter, the batteries had just died on it. But it was facing, I have cameras facing cameras, you see. And those cameras and those lights were actually a test. And I'd put them up during the hunting season. I'd put them up over half a year ago. And I actually figured they would have been destroyed like half a year ago. I thought pretty much right away they would get tore up by somebody, because there's that culture up here of people thinking that they can get away with everything up here because it's so rural. That's not going to be the case anymore. I'm building a neighborhood here. There's going to be some paved roads. We're going to get a patrol up here from the sheriff every now and then, once enough tax money is flowed in. So right now, that was a test, and it garnished a lot of information. And what will occur anyway is always we were going to add multiple layers of security, more layers of security. Any ranch will do that anyway. We're doing steel pipe, oil-filled pipe fence in front of the house for many hundreds of feet. Barbed wire, triple wire. We're doing a yard deep within our 36 acres as well. Another yard, a perimeter yard around the home. We'll have other wooden fences, and we'll have our corrals for our sheep. We're going to have huge spotlights out there whenever we go back over there here in the spring. Big spotlights, they shine across, because our property is almost half a mile long. They shine all the way across the property, the road. You'll be able to see everything. They're going to be up on steel poles higher off the ground, so people can't just try and break them. They'll be behind the steel fence. Whenever we're there, also we have our 4 dogs. Chewy became ours. She hasn't even tried to help or do anything at all. So we have our 4 dogs running around. Myself, my son, he's fixing to be 18. So for him, he's already fixing to own some rifles. We already have 2 rifles picked out for him. For when the time comes for him, he's fixing to be that age as well. He can already do bows and other things like that. We have a few other security measures that would sound maybe kind of extreme, but I won't discuss those here. So that's what we have going on, and what happened with Angela and with Tony. Y'all have all followed on the page and seen what's happened with Tony, what's happened with Mason. I have multiple case numbers out with them for multiple different agencies. I don't think Tony will be coming back up here to grow any weed. He would already have to be here right now getting started. He can't. I'm here. He does know that I've reported him. Angela knows I've reported both of them. I've reported her to the Internal Affairs, and a few other organizations as well have calls in with the Marijuana Enforcement Division, and a case number with them for this guy. County Planning and Zoning. There's multiple angles to hit these people from all of the time. So, and that is not what I wanted to do when I came here, but it's like, I don't know how exactly I ended up getting to know the wrong ones. I do know that the actual Facebook page, the one that has more members on it for Wild Horse Mesa, is ran by Terry, and he is a huge scammer. He's an evil person that was friends with the enemy, the person he calls the enemy, the person who was the enemy, one of the people who was stealing and dumping trash and doing the most out here. Two of them actually. So him kind of looking like the face of the Mesa, being the one who runs the page where most of the people are. And the way that he erases certain people or erases certain parts of certain messages or certain posts and this, that, and the other. He manipulates the reality. And if you have somebody that's a scumbag, that's sneaky, that screws people over, being the face of an entire 72 square mile area, that's a huge problem. I encourage this video to be cross-shared to that page, which he'll probably take it down. Or even cross-shared in a message. It can be sent in messages to the other members of that page, encouraging them to have another page as well. Sort of like how Terry doesn't like that there's only one co-op up here, and he tried to start his own because he says that the other one's no good. Terry is no good. Nothing Terry's doing is any good. He's just asking people for money. And what I found out was I met Miss Melby. So Melby's daughter, the one that's still alive, I met her. I was getting water. She came up there and I talked to her. And Terry told her that him and his friends, they went and picked up all that trash. She told me all about it. And I said, no, ma'am, me and my son did that. We went with my son's truck and picked up trash the first day. And then on the next day, we incorporated the help of our neighbor who said he would come and help. And he brought his kids because they were in trouble, and one of them just sat in the truck the whole time. This is when Terry kicked me off his Facebook page, because on his Facebook page, he put up a post about it, and they started getting kind of weird, and I mentioned on there that they took their kids up there because they were in trouble, and that the girl didn't pick up anything. She sat in the truck the whole time, because Carl likes to cater to his stepdaughter like that. All I did was point it out. They got crazy. They got angry. Started a bunch of different weird fights. Threw me off the page. But I'm not going to kiss Michelle's rear. Carl's wife or Carl's rear or Terry or anybody. I am going to keep being me. I have a very public image. My company is a public company. People can review us all the time. They see what we do all of the time. We do transparent work. I have an open, transparent life that's not shuttered in due to fear or having relationships with people who try and hold you down or hold you back or hold something over your head. And that's what Terry and them were. Terry reached out and lied to one of my customers on here. Terry and Carl told him I wouldn't pay them when they did some help for me, whenever in reality they wouldn't let me pay them. That's fine. I said, well, I'll have a cookout. Oh yeah, okay, cool, we'll have a cookout then. And then got on the phone with my customer that lives up here on the Mesa, has land here on the Mesa, and told them that I refuse to pay them. They will lie. They will trick you. They will try and get you into a situation that you don't even realize is happening. Literally like the game Clue. You remember the game Clue? You try and figure out who the killer is, right? And all that. They'll literally invite you over to their houses and stuff and maybe be planning to set it up to make it look like you stole something from them. This, that, and the other. I'm serious as a heart attack. They are very bad people. I won't go around them. We're building our first house this year up here already. It will expand into multiple more houses up here. I can tell you none of the people that buy houses from me and are up here and know me are going to befriend any of these scammers. Terry's little organization will fall. His lies will eat him up like they always do. And he can keep his Facebook page, I guess, if he wants to. It is what it is. But just know you're not getting the truth over there. You're not getting the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, I guess you could say. And they like to sneak around and hide information and move it in certain ways. So you're also being manipulated if you land on that page and you get your information off there. Not just your regular pictures of, oh, it's a nice sunset, or, oh, it's real snowy today, or whatever. Oh, look, there's horses, that kind of stuff. That's all fine and well. But not really knowing your community whenever it's in danger like this, and understanding where you're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to build a home or buy a home and spend your earnings in that community and be around those kind of people, you don't want to be worried that someone's going to drop some pills in your drink at the barbecue. You don't want to be worried that, like Ron Butler, who's the buddy over here with all these people, who got an attempted murder charge, had to go to prison out here because he ran a girl over twice trying to kill her with a truck out here and didn't get away with it in the middle of the night. Wasn't it this blue truck?
I think so, yeah.
It was this truck right here he did it with. So, yeah. Anyone out here that's evil or trying to fly under the radar or do something wrong, that day is over, man. And if you try and run head up with me or you try and sneak around my stuff, you will get caught. And that'll be your ass.